What's up, guys? How's everybody doing? It's Paris Collins. Um, I don't know what you guys are doing. I don't mean to take up too much of your time, uh, but I wanted to share something with you, something that's been on my mind. Um, some things have kind of shifted recently in my life, pretty big time, um, due to some choices, some both good and bad, um, that I've made. But I wanted to share something with you today that could be beneficial to you. I don't know where you're at in life, whatever you're going through, wherever life has brought you. Um, this might just help you out. So check it out. I want to start this off. I want to tell you a story. And you probably heard the story. You're probably like, man, I've heard this, but just check it out. And the story goes like this. There was a guy. He wanted to make a lot of money, so he went to this guru, right? And he told the guru, he said, hey, I want to be on the same level that you're on. He said, all the cars, all the money, all the clothes, all the fame, all the fortune that you have, I want those things. I want to be successful just like you. And the guru looks up at him and he's like, well, how bad do you want to be successful? The young man's like, real bad. So the guru says, if so, then I'll meet you tomorrow at the beach at 4 a.m. He's like, man, I'm trying to make money. You want to meet me at the beach, not Starbucks, not your office, not none of these things. And the guru was like, if you really want to be successful, you'll meet me tomorrow at the beach at 4 a.m. So the young man, he's like, okay, I got you. I'll tell you what, I'll be there early. I'll be there at 2:30. I'll be there early because I want to be successful. So he's like, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Check this out. 2:30 shows around the next day. The young man shows up. He's already rock and roll. Got on a suit. He should have wore shorts. Old man comes around. He grabs his hand. At 4 o'clock, man was standing out there an hour and 30 minutes, waiting on what he thought was the chance of a lifetime to be what he thought was successful. So the old man comes out. He grabs the guru's hand. He says to him, well, hey, how bad do you want to be successful? The guru grabbed the young man's hand. He said, real bad. He said, if so, then I want you to walk out into the water. So the young man, he's like, man, I can't do that. He said, I worked 40 hours this week, and I spent my whole check on a suit trying to get something to impress you. Every day this week, Monday through Friday, I was at the job trying to work my butt off so I could get this suit so I could come out here because I thought you were going to introduce me to people. I thought you were going to show me how to get money. I thought you were going to show me how to get cars, fame, fortune, and clothes. I thought you were going to show me what success is. He says, but I thought that you said that you wanted to be successful. He said, I did. He says, well, then walk out into the water. So the young man's like, okay, I'll walk out into the water. So he's walking, and he stops. And the water comes like right here at his knees. And he turns back around, and he looks at the guru. He says, okay, I walked out of here. Now, what are you getting at? What do I have to do next? He said, well, how bad do you want to be successful? He said, real bad. He says, then walk a little bit further. And I'm almost done, I promise. I know you're probably like, man, I got to go. But I'm almost done. He says, okay. So he walks a little bit further. And the water's right here at his waist area now. And he asks the guru, he says, well, what do I do now? I've got the water up to my waist. And the guru never came out to the water. He's standing on the shore, giving the young man directions on how to be successful. So the young man's like, well, he says, what do I do now, guru? Guru looks at him. He says, how bad do you want to be successful? He says, real bad. We've been over this 3 times, man. He says, okay, then walk out into the water. He walks. And the water comes right here at his shoulder area. It's at his shoulder area. So he's looking up. So he's like, guru, what do I got to do now? He's like, walk a little bit further. So he's like, walk a little bit further. He said, you got me out here almost 6 foot deep of water, and you want me to walk a little bit further. He says, man, I quit, man. He says, I didn't ask to be a lifeguard. I didn't ask to come to go swimming. I didn't even ask to meet you at the beach today. All I wanted to do was be successful. I wanted the fame. I wanted the fortune. I wanted the cars. I wanted to be successful just like you. And you brought me out here to go swimming. And that's not what I asked to do. He says, I quit. He says, I'm done. I give up. He says, it's over with. So the guru looks back at him and he says, but you told me, you said this morning or yesterday, you said that you wanted to be successful. He says, now we're here, and you're telling me you're not willing to pay the price of what it costs to be successful. He says, you want the reward, but you're not willing to pay the price of what it costs. So your man's like, he's like, you're right. He says, tell me what I got to do. Tell me what I got to do. He said, walk a little bit further. So the young man, he's tiptoeing. He's at the top of the water, getting ready to sink, getting ready to drown. Not to mention, he doesn't know how to swim. So he's getting ready to drown. Finally, the guru comes out into the water, takes the young man, holds him down underneath the water, and just before the young man was about to pass out, he lets him up. He lets him catch his breath. My man's scratching. My man's wheezing. He's trying to catch air. He's trying to breathe. He's trying to do all these things. And he let him up. And he says, when you finally find out what your success really is, what you're called to do, and what you're meant to do, and you want that just as bad as you wanted to breathe when you were just under this water, he said, then you'll be successful. He said, then that's when you'll hit it. That's when you'll make it. That's when it'll come to you. He said, listen, when you're having an asthma attack, you're wheezing, and you're short of breath, SOB, shortness of breath, only thing that you're worried about is getting some fresh air. You're not worried about a basketball game. You're not worried about what's on TV. You're just trying to get some fresh air. That's it. When you get to place into the point in your life where all you want to do is be successful, as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. Real quickly, I did some research on Beyonce. And Beyonce said she was in her studios and she was doing her thing. And she hadn't eaten. Why? Because she was focused and she was engaged on being successful, making her soundtrack, making her CD, making her album. And I flip-flopped and I did some research on 50 Cent. And 50 Cent, he told a reporter, he said, when I'm not making my movie, I make my soundtrack. So that's 50. He said, well, when do you sleep, 50s? He said, check this out. He says, sleep is for those who are broke. He said, I don't sleep. I've got one chance to make my reality. And this is to all my hard workers out there, the guys, the girls, the ladies, the gentlemen that's going out there and you're working 2 jobs, 3 jobs, whatever you're doing. You're going to work and you're getting tired. You're getting frustrated. You're not realizing when it's going to pay off. You don't know if you want to do this anymore, and you're just done. And you're tired of it. You're sick of it. And you're sitting here and you're trying to think of your kids. You're trying to think of your wife, your family. Keep going. Don't give up. This one's for all my friends who are out there, who's got loved ones, who's got relationships or whatever. Learn not to take who you got in your life for granted. When God sends you somebody, remember to respect them. Be loyal and be honest. I'm telling you what, because it only takes one instance, one moment, one single thread of a moment, that one instance for you to come to the realization that that's someone that you know has now become someone that you knew. We make mistakes, we fall down. Me, myself, I just made one of the biggest mistakes of my life that cost me somebody really important in my life. And I asked myself, I'm like, man, you did it. It was cool when it happened. And now I've got to pay the price. But regardless of what you do, be the best that you can be. Always be the best